Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Wednesday morning the 31st of January. The wheat in this field is looking very sorry for itself. It's very muddy out there today. It's a complete quagmire, exactly like the Delphi case is right now. Over the last couple of days I've done 2 reasonably long, for me at least, live streams. And I know that not everybody can spare the time to go through live streams or even find them interesting at all. You know, reading through documents, some people don't find interesting, and that's your prerogative. However, there's some very important things that have come out in those documents over the last couple of days. And if you're following the Delphi case and you're not caught up with all of that, I think you need to know it. You need to know that the Delphi prosecutor, Nicolas C McLeland, henceforth known as Slick Nick, has put some very worrying things in the documentation that he's submitted. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. And we're going to speculate on a question. If he's prepared to admit the things that he's been doing, what else has been going on from the prosecutor's office behind the scenes? It's an open question. Let me know in the comments what you think, but let's get into this video. Let's go.
It's time for you guys to start being journalists.
Before an angry Andrew Baldwin left the courthouse, 13 News overheard him speaking to Richard Allen's wife, saying, "It ain't over. The world's watching. The world sees what's going on."
So this document here, the state's motion to compel discovery, isn't problematic. This is perfectly normal for the prosecution to ask the defence to hand over the results of their own investigation. The state has got to give the defence their discovery, and likewise, defence has to give the prosecution their discovery. Now, Nick is compelling that they comply with some, very terse words. Within 30 days after the prosecutor's disclosure of the discovery, Nick claimed to have done that in October before all of this nonsense broke out. Jeez. From the 12th of October of last year, Judge Francis C. Gull told Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin to stop working on the case. So basically the clock stopped. But now Slick Nick wants all of the information from the defence's discovery within 30 days of his disclosure. If the trial had gone ahead in January, it would be all but done and dusted by now. So it's a bit late in the day for Slick Nick to be compelling discovery, but anyhow, that's the way the cookie has crumbled in this case. This is what Slick Nick wants of the defence, and again, not unusual. So the names and last known addresses of persons whom the defence intends to call as witnesses. So the defence has got to give the state a witness list. That's normal. Okay, so if it's going to put them in danger, they don't have to disclose their addresses, but they have to make them available. Again, normal. Any books, papers, documents, photographs, or tangible objects the defence intends to use as evidence. Any reports or statements of experts made in connection with this case, including results of physical or mental examinations. So that is mental examination of Richard Allen, which they've been told twice they're not allowed to have, but they may well get it before the trial, I don't know. Scientific tests, experiments or comparisons that may be used at a hearing or trial, and the defence must disclose any statutory defence in writing by the statutory deadline, or if there's no deadline within a reasonable time. Well, they've already done that in the memorandum that Slick Nick may or may not have read. They're putting forward a third-party guilt defence, and they've gone to great length to explain their rationale for that. So that document isn't problematic, but the other two most definitely are. This is very troubling. I can't with this guy. I got very mad in my live streams about Slick Nick, seriously. This is trying to compel Judge Frances C. Gull, who has her wings tied at the moment. She's had her feathers clipped because Rozzi and Baldwin have put in a motion for the judge's disqualification. So that has to be dealt with first. And I'm assuming that we're going to get some response from Judge Gull very soon. All right, so this is very, very troubling. What Slick Nick wants is Judge Gull to order Brad Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin to appear before the court to show cause if there be any reason why they should not be held in indirect contempt for violation of this court orders. If this is not leading to another attempt for Judge Gull to disqualify them, it feels like that's where it's heading. Slick Nick is in Judge Gull's pocket. They're as thick as thieves. They've got a common purpose to basically destroy Richard Allen's defence. So if it's not leading to that, if Judge Gull isn't going to try that again, and I can't really see how she can because of what the Supreme Court said, but you never know in this case. You just don't know in this case. You know, she might go rogue again in a last-ditch attempt to destroy Rozzi and Baldwin and the case. What this is an attempt for Slick Nick to have Bradley, Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin sanctioned for contempt of court. So this is a civil case. It's troubling. All that stuff again about the gag order, which the Chief Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court, Loretta Rush, said was not a problem because their press release that Bradley and Rozzi put out on the 1st of December 2022 was before the gag order. You know, it's rehashing all of this stuff again. But if we skip down, we get some information that we haven't heard before. And this is about Mitch Westerman. Now, if you remember, Mitch Westerman is the guy who snuck into Andrew Baldwin's office where the discovery papers were laid out in the conference room. Crime scene photos happened to be there. And no, that wasn't open to the public. Mitch Westerman could go in there because he was a friend of Andrew Baldwin. He'd worked in that firm for 7 years. So he knew his way around those offices. Andrew Baldwin trusted him. So why did he sneak in August of 2023 and then have these kind of photos in his back pocket, so to speak, and then 2 months later start sharing them out to Robert Fortson, who then shared them with Mark Cohen? But this is the troubling bit here. Slick Nick is aware that a search warrant on the iCloud account of Mitch Westerman, now we haven't seen any of this at all, but this is Mitch Westerman's case, because he's been charged with conversion. It's a form of theft. This is going through a criminal court as a completely different case, but yet Slick Nick thinks this is relevant. So what is Slick Nick doing? Interfering with a case that is not relevant to this case and including it in court documents? Well, we find out why. This seems like a fishing expedition to me, that Slick Nick is engaged in this witch hunt against Brad Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin, and he's prepared to go to any lengths to find dirt on Andrew Baldwin. So this search warrant revealed screenshot photographs of conversations between Mitch Westerman and the defence counsel Andrew Baldwin, wherein they candidly discuss the Richard Allen case and candidly talk about the court and the state, displaying a free flow of information that is protected by the court's gag order and the order protecting discovery. No. I say again, no. Why? Because the gag order is only about public communications And the order protecting discovery is not saying that private conversation can't be had between an attorney and someone else about the case in general. So any candid conversations that Mitch Westerman and Andrew Baldwin had about the court and the state. Interestingly, about the contempt of court attempt, Shay Hughes, who is an attorney in Indiana, has written this on Twitter. For contempt, there is a collective of clear laws regarding what to do when a party violates a court's order outside of the court's presence. It's referred to as indirect contempt, so that's the attempt that Slick Nick is trying here. But indirect contempt requires willful disobedience of any lawfully issued orders. There's also a procedure in place that requires notice, affirmation, and an opportunity to be heard, amongst other safeguards. Further, a court is limited in punishing a defendant, fine, imprisonment, or both. However, this cannot be the law that's being referred to, as no contempt proceedings were initiated. Also, can you really find willful disobedience when the state contends the same person is a victim of a crime? Please. It's nonsense. It's just distraction. All of this is distraction. But what concerns me is why Mitch Westerman took screenshots and saved those conversations in his iCloud. Why would you do that? That's weird. Mitch Westerman, I maintain, is on someone's payroll. Now, there's a whole bunch of troubling things in that document. I went through that yesterday. And then this is absolutely bizarre. This is just bizarre. The state's response to the defence's motion for transfer. Now the motion for transfer was filed by Scremin and Labrato when they were the interim defence. And yet Slick Nick has taken up this cause of doing his own investigation into Wabash Correctional Facility. He's even contacted Wabash to get video footage of Scremin and Labrato arriving at the prison to visit Richard Allen. And they've gone and got photographs. So that's what the cell looks like from inside to outside and where the chair was based. And that is an 8-inch hole. So there's no way you can tell that that's 8 inches because perspective-wise that looks huge, but it's not. Look how far back that chair is. And then that's outside looking in to the cell. Again, that's 8 inches. Put a ruler up against that, and that's just enough space to fit a food tray through. Why did he get someone from Wabash to do that? This is a witch hunt, a fishing expedition. And this isn't against Rozzi and Baldwin, this is against Scremin and Labrato, who are now off the case, who now can't reply. But saying, once again for the third time, the colourful dramatic language used by the defence is an attempt to curry public favour for their client. Listen, 4 attorneys, Rozzi, Baldwin, Scremin and Labrato, combined must have close to 100 years of experience of dealing with clients and visiting prisoners. And all 4 of them say they've never seen anything like this. This is not about dramatic language and currying favour with the public. You know, why are you so insecure, Nick? Is the question I've got to ask. Why are you so insecure? Why are you spending your time doing all this, conducting your own investigation, when you've got a trial to prepare for? You know, this just seems like adding extra work to his workload. And we know how overworked he says he is. I bet he was doing this in work time at taxpayers' expense. So he says that the defence is exaggerated and misleading. Just crazy. Crazy. Looking at surveillance cameras. And then Scremin and Labrato asked for Richard Allen to be transferred to either Adams County or Allen County. Well, this is irrelevant now because Scremin and Labrato are off. So actually, Nick, instead of contacting the Adams County Jail and the Allen County Jail, perhaps you should have contacted Cass County Jail. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe you shouldn't have wasted your time contacting any of them and doing any of this nonsense. You've got a trial to prepare for. You know, the taxpayer surely deserves better from the Carroll County prosecutor. He's so wet behind the ears. He's so scared. This just seems like a distraction. Distracting himself, but also distracting all of us from what's really going on. Because I asked that question again. If he's prepared to put this nonsense into the public domain via court filings and disparaging the defence and trying to destroy the case at every turn, what is he doing behind the scenes? It's an open question. Let me know in the comments what you think. But this is not right. This is very concerning. So what else is going on behind the scenes? They clearly have no intention of taking this to trial anytime soon. These are stalling tactics. Now, there is another prosecutor working on this case, James Luttrell. So maybe he's working on the trial prep. Maybe he's more experienced, while Slick Nick runs about like a blue horse fly doing all of this nonsense. Distracting us all, distracting Baldwin and Rozzi, adding more work for them when they should be preparing for trial. I say again, what's going on behind the scenes? What's the real purpose for this? And I submit to you the real purpose for this is to destroy the case because they do not have a case to take to trial and they know full well they don't. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Go and check out those live streams that I did if you've got a mind to, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.